Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States. He is known for leading the United States during the American Civil War and an important figure in the abolishment of slavery in the United States. Here are Abraham Lincoln quotes about freedom, Civil War, and several other topics. Tact is the ability to describe others as they see themselves. With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. Let not him who is houseless pull down the house of another, but let him work diligently and build one for himself, thus by example assuring that his own shall be safe from violence when built. I happen temporarily to occupy this big white house. I am living witness that any one of your children may look to come here as my father's child has. I do not think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion. America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. The better part of one's life consists of his friendships. You cannot help people permanently by doing for them what they could and should do for themselves. Public sentiment is everything. With public sentiment, nothing can fail, without it nothing can succeed. I desire to so conduct the affairs of the administration that if, at the end, when I come to lay down the reins of power, I have lost every other friend on earth, I shall have at least one friend left, and that friend shall be down inside of me. Elections belong to the people. It's their decision. If they decide to turn their back on the fire and burn their behinds, then they will just have to sit on their blisters. I am rather inclined to silence, and whether that be wise or not, it is at least more unusual nowadays to find a man who can hold his tongue than to find one who cannot. I want it said of me by those who knew me best, that I always plucked a thistle and planted a flower where I thought a flower would grow. You have to do your own growing no matter how tall your grandfather was. I have always found that mercy bears richer fruits than strict justice. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any one thing. It is not merely for today, but for all time to come that we should perpetuate for our children's children this great and free government, which we have enjoyed all our lives. You are ambitious, which, within reasonable bounds, does good rather than harm. Character is like a tree and reputation its shadow. The shadow is what we think it is and the tree is the real thing. To give victory to the right, not bloody bullets, but peaceful ballots only, are necessary. Every head should be cultivated. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Be with a leader when he is right, stay with him when he is still right, but leave him when he is wrong. The ballot is stronger than the bullet. When I'm getting ready to reason with a man, I spend 1/3 of my time thinking about myself and what I am going to say, and 2/3 thinking about him and what he is going to say. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. Be sure you put your feet in the right place, then stand firm. You can tell the greatness of a man by what makes him angry. You can't make a weak man strong by making a strong man weak. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Whatever you are, be a good one. It is rather for us here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. Both parties deprecated war, but one of them would make war rather than let the nation survive, and the other would accept war rather than let it perish. And the war came. In giving freedom to the slave, we assure freedom to the free, honorable alike in what we give, and what we preserve. We shall nobly save, or meanly lose, the last best hope of earth. In great contests each party claims to act in accordance with the will of God. Both may be, and one must be wrong. As I would not be a slave, so I would not be a master. This expresses my idea of democracy. I believe this government cannot endure, permanently half slave and half free. Those who deny freedom to others, deserve it not for themselves. You cannot build character and courage by taking away people's initiative and independence. I have always hated slavery, I think as much as any abolitionist. Please like, share, comment and subscribe.